Hey YouTube viewers, welcome back. Today I am going to show you how to put that rough, grungy look to your portraits. A lot of athletes like that rough and gritty look to their portraits. Makes them look tough. So we're going to use Photoshop and I'll show you how I do it. So we're going to start with this handsome fella here. And the first thing we do is make two copies of the background image. So let's click and drag, and we'll click and drag again. Gives us two copies. Let's rename this first layer Noise. Let's rename the second layer High Pass. Now, turn off the high pass filter and select the noise. We go to Filter, Noise, Add Noise, and I put about 10% of Gaussian noise. You can adjust it up or lower depending on the resolution of your original shot and the resolution that you want for the final picture. Important here, select monochromatic. The reason we do that is to avoid having different colored pixels being lit. If you don't have it, it'll try to create random noise like the noise on a sensor, and you will get some chromatic noise, which means different green, blue, or red pixels lighting up. So select monochromatic. And now we've got a relatively noisy picture. If we remove this, you can see very subtle noise adjustments. Let's set the opacity to, roughly 80%. Now, let's turn on the high pass layer. We go to Filter, Other, High Pass, and here the radius I usually put anywhere from 12 to 15%. You can adjust that to taste. If we look at the picture, less pixels gives me less sharpness. Very high will give something extreme. So when we go around 12 to 15%, it'll give us these sharp edges, and certain areas like hair will be very defined. So let's click OK. Now this layer is the weird one. We are going to put the blend mode to color burn. This gives a really harsh image, so now we play with the opacity and we can set that to roughly 50%, and again you can adjust it to taste. Here I put 46. Now things are a little dark here, so what we're going to do is add a brightness contrast layer. And let's raise the brightness. I usually raise it to somewhere around 40, 45. And now we can set the opacity for final taste. Now let's select these three layers. Hit Control or Command G to create a group. Let's call this group Grunge. And now if you see we play with it, we go from that nice light portrait, creamy skin, to something that's harsh and tough. And if this is too much, you can always select the entire group and adjust the opacity to something that's more to your liking. And that was it. Simple. Not much work. Now, to recap, you make two copies of your background layer. One is going to be for noise, the other one is going to be for a high pass filter. Add Gaussian noise, about 10%, monochromatic. Then to the other layer for the high pass filter, about 12 to 15 pixels in size. You can do all of this to taste. The noise layer, we can adjust the opacity. The high pass layer we set to color burn. The opacity can be adjusted to taste. Add a brightness layer at the end and adjust the brightness up. And that's it. You can put them all into a group, you can turn it on and off to test, and you can adjust the opacity of the entire group to your liking. Thanks for watching. I'll have plenty of more Photoshop tips and tricks like this for you. Remember, show your support by subscribing, and I'll see you soon.